Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing the USA forecast for today's second video. So as always on a Wednesday, we're having a look at the weather for the next 6 weeks in the United States, and I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video was the 6 AM UK weather forecast, and going to be a 10 to 14 day coming up for you later on today as well. Please like, share, subscribe on those videos. Thank you so much everybody for doing that, and drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. So thank you so much everybody for doing that. Right, okay, let's start off with the week 1 500 millibar height anomaly for America. This is the week that we're currently in, the 17th to the 24th of April. So we see we've got a trough of below average heights across many parts of America. Actually, the sort of blue is extrapolating to below average heights, which is low pressure from the Pacific Northwest all the way down into this southeastern corner. There's a ridge towards the southwestern part of America, but generally it looks like low pressure is in control in most places. So it's a cool or a cold week currently, but it's being experienced across America. A couple of exceptions in the far south and southwest here, like Arizona, looks a little bit warmer through there, and up the eastern seaboard as well looks relatively mild or warm through there as well. Those cold temperatures probably progressing eastwards though as the week wears on. They are the exceptions though. Generally most places are colder than average from the west to the Rockies, and then further eastwards into the Midwest and up to the Great Lakes, down into the southern and southeastern states as well, looking generally cooler or colder than average this week. Precipitation wise, actually, even though below average heights, low pressure in control, it's relatively dry across many parts of America. The wettest areas are in the far north this week. I suppose it's dry because it's cold. So the wettest areas are up across the far northern states, so it could be a mix of rain and snow up there. And then elsewhere, we see a lot of dry weather again from the west and the southwest, out towards the Rockies, and then on into the Midwest. It looks like there's a zone of slightly wetter conditions, perhaps through some parts of the Midwest. And then further eastwards, when we get into this eastern side of America, then it looks drier than normal as well. Right, that's week 1 done. Week 2 will be the 24th of April to the 1st of May. Here we go. So we find that trough of low pressure pushing into more eastern and northeastern parts of America. Could that drag colder air down the eastern side, something we haven't seen a lot of over the past few months. Meanwhile, it looks like we've got some low pressure below average heights in the Pacific Northwest, and some high pressure down towards the southwest. There is some high pressure over Canada as well. What is the temperature anomaly doing next week? So these kind of temperatures are progressing eastwards. So although it's milder than average this week on the eastern seaboard and in those eastern parts of America, by next week it's significantly colder, especially from the Midwest to the East Coast. Again, up to the Great Lakes, we see temperatures below average. I put in the temperature scale, why not do that? And we can see it on the temperature scale, we're like 3 to 6 degrees below average actually through some of these Midwestern and eastern parts of America. So really quite a cold week to come next week. Going further westwards, so not as cold in the northwest, but still a little bit below average. Remains pretty hot down in the far southwestern part of America, above average temperatures there. And of course, as I said, we're talking about states like Arizona, and so we can expect that it'll be very hot, you know, with a temperature anomaly of around 1 to 3 degrees above average. That's bound to be really hot there next week. And let's go through the precipitation anomaly for next week. Most places are looking drier than average, so I suppose that is the saving grace about being cold in the east and through Midwest. It is drier than normal there. Excuse me. And it's also drier than normal down to southwest as well. A little bit wetter in the far west, in far northwest, so up that west coast from Northern California up towards Seattle State. And then we find that, or is it Washington State? I can never remember. It's Seattle, Washington, isn't it? I think. Someone correct me in the comments. Sleepless in Seattle. And it's wetter than average down towards the Gulf Coast as well. So a little bit wetter through there. But most parts of America look relatively dry again next week. Right, week 3 will be the 1st to the 8th of May. Oh, I've got a cough back tonight. I'm recording this video. We've got the below average heights again in the northeast and out in the west coast of America. Otherwise, we'll put in a question mark as the signal is getting a little bit weaker now. Still largely chilly in most parts of the state, so especially in the west, below average temperature there. Of course, like California, these are anomalies to average, so like California will be pretty warm, even if the temperature anomalies a couple of degrees below average, but you know, it remains relatively cool anyway from the west coast to the Rockies there. Warmer down in most southern parts of America, and perhaps a little bit on the cool side on the eastern side of the states too. And precipitation-wise, it looks like that for week 3, driest again. Oh dear, down in the south. Wettest off the Pacific coast, also relatively dry across these eastern parts of America as well. Signals are weakening though. Right, week 4 will be the 8th to the 15th of May. Very weak signals now. As always, let's put in 2 question marks. We'll have a look at the temperature anomaly, see how that's looking. So it's still a little bit warmer on the southern states, still perhaps a little bit cooler in the western states, perhaps warming up a bit across the eastern states as well. And not much of a signal for precipitation. Week 5 will be the 15th to 22nd of May. Again, it all looks very mysterious. Question mark time. Questions. Temperature anomalies are still a little bit on the cool side in the west. The central states milder, and again along the east coast, along the eastern seaboard, looking at relatively mild there. Precipitation for week 5, again very weak signals. And then lastly, week 6, 22nd of May, 29th, month's end, looks like that. And again, no useful signal can be deciphered with that. The temperature anomaly, again, no useful signal there either. And precipitation-wise, I expect that won't give us anything useful either. No, it doesn't. Although, interestingly, it does look perhaps slightly on the wet side for the southern and southwestern states, which is quite unusual, I think, for the end of May. But anyway, it's so far away. It's a very weak signal. It's not worth worrying about. Right, that's it for the USA forecast for this week. If you found the video interesting and informative, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. We'll be back shortly with a 10 to 14 day update, including all our regular features for UK and for Ireland too, so I shall see you a little bit later on for that one. For this week's Extended USA forecast, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.